Hi everyone, so I arrived at MIT now walking home. I would like to tell you a little bit more about how do I feel and why I wanted to get this vaccine to begin with. Although I never had COVID for the last 2.5 years, I was pretty well protected. I was protecting myself, but there was a scientific reason why I believe, based on my research, that it would be best to take this vaccine or get this vaccine from Novavax, not the other ones, but Novavax. So, and let me tell you first a little bit about how do I feel. Actually, I feel kind of more energized, which is very interesting. That's why I wanted to shoot this video to begin with. That's very interesting, and I believe my scientific assessment is correct. And number two, it's now 1.5 hours since I got the vaccine, and my arm was feeling pretty well. And it's always good that you move your arm right away so that it won't get sore. So my arm immediately, once she gave me the shot, immediately I felt soreness. Usually it's a little bit after, but I felt the soreness, like pretty darn soreness. The bleeding was also new to me. The soreness is usually afterwards, but it was right away, like pretty heavily. That was also a little bit interesting. But I had no soreness afterwards at all. But right now, what's interesting is since the last 5 minutes or so, my left arm started to tingle. It's like numb, a little bit starting to get numb, and the numbness goes down to my fingers right now. So I don't believe it's anything super serious, but I guess I'm just telling you, as I always do, with full honesty, what's going on. So the immediate soreness was new to me. It was usually afterwards or more in the evening, but it was right away pretty heavily. 2, bleeding, supposed to be normal. I never had that in my entire life before during vaccination, so that's new. 3, tingling. I keep saying tingling, but I mean sore numbness. Not too bad, but just a little bit uncomfortable. That's there. It's all my entire arm, my fingers. So that's there. But overall, it's just so interesting. I feel so energized. I do not believe it's emotional or like psychological, but I do feel it has a lot to do with the physiology. So let me now dive deeper into why I wanted to get this vaccine to begin with. Is because, as I told you multiple times before in my videos, that I believe I've got the pre-COVID, which I now believe was COVID, overseas in January 2019. And since then, my life is a burning hell for my body, and that's why I want to write a book about long COVID. And I think I am the only person, maybe, or one of the few people who actually has gigantic experience now with all my research that I've done, all the tests I went through, all the things I've gone through in my body. So I think I would be a very good source to write a comprehensive book about that. And I talked with the nurse, and she's like, definitely write it. So I think I will definitely do that if I have the fun, if I find the time. But regardless, I believe that based on my research, when I would get the vaccine, if I would still have the virus, what I did many tests. I'm not sure exactly what they test in the PCR test, but my PCR tests were always negative because I had surgeries in the meantime, etc. I have multiple tests, and they required me to take the PCR test, so I was always negative. And so regardless of that status, even if I would have some viruses inside that still cause these effects, then I certainly believe that this vaccine would neutralize those. But then you would ask, okay, didn't you develop antibodies? Of course I did, obviously. But regardless, whatever is happening, that still causes these reactions to the immune system. And so not is much known, but for my interpretation is that if I would get the vaccine, if there are some viruses left or still that causes these issues, a vaccine would help to eliminate or suppress these hyper reactions to the nervous system that eventually causes all these issues to the other organs, and also activates the mast cells so that it secretes histamine, and that causes all these immunological issues. So that's my scientific take of it. I use my body oftentimes as a laboratory and to make the analysis of what I know and what my body feels. So I never go by what my doctor says she should do, because I always say to my doctors, no. This is this and this and this is happening because of, I believe this and this and this and this. We should test this and this and this. Never by what the MDs physicians are saying, because the physicians always, especially when you go to a specialist, they just treat their specialty, like the symptom. They never treat the cause. And my issue is the cause, because we still do not know what the causes is. But my belief is that, I kept saying that, and they had no clue about what to do, is that I believe what I had was the pre-COVID in January 2019 overseas. So that's the entire scenario. The numbness and tingling is getting a little bit better, but still a bit there. I will update you, but I will see you in the next video. Bye!